Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the KeithAndrewNetwork. It is episode 919. Today, we have two great upcoming people in the entertainment world. Won't say who, but you will be really surprised. For people who want to know what is the KeithAndrewNetwork, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities that never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. Prove to them step out something. That being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to jump in with icebreakers.
Alicia Farmer, and I just got interviewed by Keith Andrew, and we are super excited to show you this interview.
And I'm John Farmer, and I'm with Zepstone, and this was a fantastic interview. I'm really happy to be here, and yeah.
All right, so the first question is icebreakers. What can you tell our audience a little bit about yourselves and the work that you guys do?
All right, we'll go ahead and start with John.
Well, I'm John Farmer, and I am kind of the president of Zepstone and co-director with a lot of the films that Alicia makes, and she's co-director of some of the films that I make. So, yeah, that's who I am.
And I'm Alicia Farmer. I am a writer, director, and producer at Zepstone Media. And our recent film, Rite of the Shaman, that's the most recent one, just got finished with winning Best Picture at Utah Film Festival. So we're super excited about that.
No, congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got 6 Best Pictures now all around the world.
Yeah, there are about 25 awards so far. So it's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
So the first question I want to ask you is, you are a director. So what type of films do you want to specialize in? Like what genre? And would you be interested in directing a film about people with disabilities?
That is a fantastic question. And what I have discovered over the years is that my true passion is family-friendly films, or films that move and inspire. That is exactly what Rite of the Shaman is. I always used to be like a horror junkie and really used to enjoy action and different things like that. But the more and more I direct, the more and more I'm learning that I really just want to be in the family-friendly, really inspirational kinds of films. And we were actually just watching Coda today. If you know, one of the Oscar nominees. And yes, I would absolutely be interested in directing a film about people with disabilities. I think
go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I just wanted to point out that just like Coda, if I did do that, it would be something to where I would actually get those people to play the roles. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it would not be someone pretending to be disabled.
No,
very important.
Yeah,
I 100% agree. And I do have some great ideas. Hey, maybe you can do a film about me if you're interested.
There we go.
So the other question I want to ask, this is for both of you. So I have a list of 14 questions I'm gonna throw out, and both of you can answer at the same time. So the first one I want to ask you, well, not at the same time, obviously you got to take turns. But the first one I want to ask you is, what experience do you have in making videos? And John, I guess this one will start with you.
Oh, well, I mean, for me, I've been in kind of theater since high school, and so I've directed a couple of plays. I just wrote a screenplay recently, but my strong suit's really actually music. And so I kind of bring all the music to the table for the films and everything, and kind of bridge the music and the film side together. And that's kind of my strong suit, the scores and everything. Yeah. So.
Getting local bands to submit their music to be in the movies.
Yeah, I like bridging the two art forms together the best that I can, especially when we're independent filmmakers working with local filmmakers. And why not bring in the local musicians and have them help score the films or their music that they produce, and it helps everybody out. It gives musicians an extra avenue for something to get their music out to a different group of people that they might normally not.
No, absolutely. And what about you?
I started in the film industry in 2009. I was an actress, and prior to that, a model, but I really got my taste for being behind the scenes. And that's kind of where my love for filmmaking began. So first with doing kind of the effects makeup, and then I really loved producing and kind of leading the different departments on set, which led to directing films. So I've been doing that since 2016.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sometimes there's a delay on my part. That's my bad. But the question I want to ask you is, what is the most rewarding part of making films?
Building the relationship with the team, be it the cast and crew.
It's like a family.
Yeah, every production that we've ever made, they always end up becoming family for us, and we love each and every one of them that come in, and so that's what's most satisfying for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love the idea of bringing multiple talented people together to make something beautiful that really moves people. So it's absolutely amazing.
Now, this one, it fits you writing and directing. And actually, it kind of fits me in a way. What's hard about catering and building the right audience?
What's hard about what? Sorry?
Oh, what's hard about catering and building the right audience?
It's a great question.
Boy, that is a good question.
It takes time.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. It's all about marketing and learning your audience and getting to know how to just know who you're reaching out to. And yeah, I think that's pretty much
it. Over time, the more and more people that you work with on set, and the more and more people that you network it with, they spread the word about working with you, and then you kind of establish this audience online as well, which is great for marketing. And I'd recommend to any filmmaker that they need to be on Instagram, they need to be on Facebook, they need to be, wherever they can possibly be, TikTok,
social media.
Yep, in addition to websites and things, because there are so many different ways to network and to even support other filmmakers too.
Yeah,
I think is such an important part of building that community and also that audience.
Yep.
No, I agree with you 100%. And especially being a writer, producer, and director, we're all in the same position, and it can be really stressful at times, obviously. But this actually brings up to me to my next point. Is stressful. How do you work in a stressful situation?
Pulling our hair out, gritting our teeth, and hoping for the best. No. You just have to take I kind of use a pizza analogy, when it comes to stressful situations. So many people try to eat the entire pie all at once, and you just have to take it one slice at a time. And even on that slice, there's little ingredients on there, and sometimes you have to pick those off and take those one piece at a time until you get through the problem. And so you just have to go through it that way.
Yeah, and really when it comes to filmmaking, the more planning that you do beforehand, the less stressful it is. However, keep in mind that there are always going to be things that are unexpected. So if you just always assume expect the unexpected and be solutions based.
Yep.
Like, oh my goodness, we forgot this tiny little piece that puts the camera on the rig, or, you know, someone tested positive for COVID, or, you know, and how to keep everybody safe. I mean, things are going to come up all the time. And really, it's just about being solutions based and calm for your team, and, you know, giving them direction on how to move forward in the best way possible.
Yep.
Well, you actually brought up a good point. And a lot of people, you know, get annoyed when I ask this question, but you did bring it up, so I'm just going to throw it out there. With everything going on with the whole pandemic, have you guys struggled getting people in person? And how do people go about auditioning? So, is there any protocols you guys put in place?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, on set, we, I'm certified with Safe Sets International. So we make sure that everything's sanitized, that people wear masks, that everybody tests before coming to set.
Yep.
However, for auditions, a lot of them nowadays are virtual anyways. So we're just going to keep any casting auditions virtual.
Yep.
And then maybe if they get callbacks, or they, you know, make it into the final rounds, then at that point we would have them in person and just make sure that they practice social distancing.
6 feet away. But they already are anyway. They're never usually.
I know, they're usually way across the room,
Yeah.
and you usually have a camera that's kind of a zoom lens on them anyways.
So the other one I want to ask you, going back to the disabilities, say someone who wants to work with you guys, either, you know, this person's being cast in your film or helping setting up on the set. Say this person has a set disability. How are you, like, I'm not saying, I almost said programmed. How are you set up to help that person? Because obviously you like, and like what I do, you obviously like giving people opportunities, but you know, things have to be done at a certain pace. You have a time period, but you also want to be known as the company's like, hey, they're very patient with people with disabilities. And so if they're an actor or a writer, what is your process?
So we generally try to vet, you know, people that we know that are in our cast. We love also opening the doors. That's one of the things about our company. We love opening the doors to anybody that wants to be part of the film, step in and learn. So it's really kind of what works best for them. We can put them on lights. And if light's not working for them, we'll put them on sound. If sound's not, you know, we can always find something for them. We really try to keep our eyes open and our minds open. And just
with City of Salt, we had lots of disabled people working as both cast and crew.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had disabled veterans, we had people who had epilepsy, all kinds of people that we worked with. And when you think about it, it's really how we'd work with, you know, people who aren't disabled. They all have different things that make them quirk, that make them tick. They all have different quirks. They all have different learning styles. So really, as a leader, my goal is to work with these different styles in different ways. You can't work with everybody the same, whether they're able-bodied or not.
I was just going to say, you know, it really depends on the person, and we have able-bodied people that, again, we put them on lights and it doesn't work for them. So we really keep an open mind, an open heart for everybody that comes in and works with us.
You know, I've lost count how many times I was in a position like, oh, well, we're hiring for this position, or we're hiring for that. And it said, oh, well, if you can't do this job, why should we give you another position in the company if you're not capable of doing it? But I like, you know, like you were saying, I really like, hey, if you're not good with silent lights, okay, let's try this. We can try something else. Doesn't matter if you try 10 different things. is the fact that you could say we tried a bunch of things, it didn't work. It isn't one strike, you're out. And that's the problem. People don't have patience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So true.
So to everyone, this one's actually a funny question. With everything that you guys accomplished in producing and directed, can you actually, it's got actually number 9, we're still on number 5. What is the least favorite sorry, I had a brain fart, hint of the show? What are the least favorite type of stories and shows that you had to produce and said, you know what, we have to do this, but I really don't want to?
Have we really had anything like that yet? I don't think we've really had anything that we
haven't enjoyed doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the toughest thing for me and we don't really have a lot of that. But whenever there's like kind of like drama on set, there might be a situation where some crew members are like clashing on something, and I'm known as HR on set, so whenever there's a problem, I go in and human resource them and sit them down and like, all right, let's talk about what's going on here. We always work it out and move on. I think that's probably my least favorite thing about on set is when people clash and it's like, it's all good, we're here for fun and art.
Yeah, especially when we're filming very sensitive topics. Like one time we were filming a rape scene, and that was not fun to watch. It was not fun to direct, but it was ultimately what was there to be part of the message of the movie. And so in those kinds of situations, they're not my favorite thing to do, but we're always very sensitive in the way that we go about it if it does have to be done.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Like having parents there, or people there that are mental health professionals, anything that really, really supports the talent to be able to both get into their part and their character and also be able to come out of it.
And your dog agrees too.
Yes, always.
No, I'm gonna.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Dogs are always part of the interviews at home.
Yep.
So the next one I want to ask you, so I got a little debate going on about this question. So I want you guys to be completely honest. Do you guys watch The Big Bang Theory? Number 1.
No.
No.
Okay, so I want to ask the question, but there's a character on the show. It's portrayed to have disabilities. I was going to say, do you think he is? But as you mentioned, you want to have a character. I like The Big Bang Theory. It's stupid funny. I like stupid funny things. As long as you can make the audience laugh. But there's some stupid funny, like you watch an Adam Sandler film, and you're kind of like, I know I shouldn't be laughing at this because it's really in poor taste. But you have to you can't take things too seriously. You need to have a sense of humor.
Yeah, I struggle with that because for me, it's I come from the old school days. I'm a 70s baby, and so I grew up with Mel Brooks. I grew up with all the classics, Woody Allen, and all those guys, and the things that they did back then.
They were not PC.
Would never be able to be made today. And
any 80s movie really would not be able to fly today as a PG rated movie.
Or at all. It wouldn't even be funded. And that's the sad part of it too, for me. I mean, it's like, there's a point where a joke becomes in poor taste, but if you're pointing out obvious things that everybody does, then I think it's open to free reign and interpretation, and I'm always up for a good laugh. So that's pretty much all.
Cancel culture is really hard nowadays too. Like you never know what's going to offend people anymore.
Yeah, that's another tough one where you have to navigate.
I just stay away from
comedy.
Yeah.
She stays away from comedy. I'm comedy.
He's the comedy guy, and he's good at writing comedy. He's really good.
Well, you actually bring up a point I was just thinking about was the whole Me Too moment, cancel culture, and whatever, conspiracy theories or BS they like to jam down people's throats. I don't worry about that. You know what? I have a message and I'm going to share my message one way or another. And I don't do labels, hint of why I'm doing the show. But with everything you guys written about, produced, do you feel eventually the cancel culture or the Me Too moment is like, maybe we should have them be a part of what we're doing? But on the other hand, like, do you really want to open that can of crap? Because you don't know if it's going to benefit you or if you're going to handicap yourself.
I think it's necessary to keep all options open that way. You have to be open to, who you may possibly offend. So Me Too, that's a really important.
You gotta be really sensitive.
Yeah, you have to be sensitive to it, but you also have to. Again, it's tricky because certain topics are very sensitive, and sometimes you have to stand your ground on your beliefs and being able to defend for me, again, I'm strictly speaking comedy wise, you have to stand to your beliefs on the comedy you're trying to portray. But in the meantime, while you're making that comedy, you also have to be very cognizant of what you're doing and what you're saying to be able to still get the joke out, still be able to get the things out there, but be mindful of the cultures out there. I mean, it is. You have to be mindful of all of it.
You have to be educated and you have to be aware.
Yeah. And still stand true to your own word. You got to stand up for yourself too.
Absolutely.
It's a balance, right? It's a balancing act.
Absolutely.
And that's why, for me, aside from comedy, I want to make films that that have like a sense of universal truth to them, where they make people feel, but it's because of something that we all share as a human, right? We all have the need to be loved. We all have the need to find purpose and meaning in our lives. And so those are the kinds of common grounds that I want to use to bring people together with film, not to separate people, if that makes sense. So that's really my life path as a director, is to unite and not divide.
Right.
Well,
and Ellie agrees out there.
Yeah.
Dogs
Dogs don't agree to the separation at the moment, but
yeah, they're having separation anxiety.
Well, while we're talking about this, I think this is a perfect question to ask. And when I have my head down, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just reading the script. So when I look at it, I'm repeating it over and over to myself in my head, saying, okay, when I look up, accent, it isn't like, okay, I forgot what I said. But while we're on the subject of, disabilities and discouraging, what was the most discouraging moment you have experienced putting projects together?
I think the most discouraging thing that we've had to deal with is getting ready to launch our very first feature film, and that's when the pandemic hit.
Oh.
So we are going to have an in-person world premiere, and we had all these different sponsorships lined up, and we were very excited. There was a lot of hype, and then the whole world kind of got shot down. So again, going back to being solutions-based, so we found a way to get it out to the world, and we got it out there for a virtual premiere. And we learned a lot, but it was extremely discouraging not to be able to have, the big screen and the red carpet experience. But we're very fortunate to have that this year with our second feature-length film. And
we were actually one of the only production companies that
were willing to do it virtually.
Yeah, so when the world shut down, there were so many filmmakers that we knew were like, nope, we're not going to release it. We're going to wait. We're not going to do it. We're like, nope, we made an executive decision to release it.
because we didn't see this thing ending anytime soon. So we were just
and
get it out and
you strike
move
while the
on.
iron's hot. You have to just keep moving forward. That's the thing that we took away from that, is that you just have to keep moving, and you just
keep creating too.
Keep creating.
Yeah, my brother likes saying 2 more years, but it's, we don't know. No one has a crystal ball.
Yeah.
Because we've actually thought it was coming to an end, and all of a sudden now this stupid new thing popped out of nowhere. There will always be a variance. And that's one reason I stopped watching the news. So as soon as you drop your guard, something else is going to pop up. But who knows where we're going to be in 2 years. The Spanish flu, burn itself out. This thing will evolve and mutate. And eventually, 2, 3, whatever, it will disappear. But it may just turn into the common cold and the flu. But that's not the question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Right? With the last 5 minutes left, I'm going to ask you about social media. Can social media make you or break you with everything that you accomplish in both of your careers? First question I want to ask you is, what are your favorite websites to use? People say Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. But is there any other websites you say you have to use this to help you start your career?
IMDb, 100%.
Yep.
Learn it. Get IMDb Pro. First the goal is to get an IMDb credit. And to do that, you have to get on a set, even if you are just a production assistant. So you can learn the different departments and learn what you love. But after that, you really need to learn IMDb, get the pro account, build up your resume as much as you possibly can. And that to me is the biggest resource that we have used.
Yeah. And I think for me, Facebook was real key. Instagram for me was but it definitely has its benefits. IMDb for sure. But yeah, I think social media is an absolute. You need it. It'll make you. And the thing is with anything these days, it's a pay to play. So if you want to be seen, you have to spend a little money to be able to get your marketing out there, to get your message out.
Yeah. And with Facebook, for example, a lot of our crews and cast have come from putting out casting notices within Facebook groups and on Instagram.
Yeah.
So without those things, I don't think we would have the same families that we've had to do these films.
Nope, not at all.
And out of all the social media sites, what has given you the biggest push?
Facebook for sure, because of the groups.
Yep, Facebook.
Utah Filmmakers, Film People of Utah, Utah Film Network. It's a great way to build your community and to find out if there are jobs out there, or student films even,
Utah
that you can get on.
Musicians and Entertainment, that's another good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Utah Musicians.
Yeah.
Now, wrapping up the show, I do have a couple questions for you. But the two I'm going to ask you is, how can our fans and listeners follow you on social media? And what are you working on next?
Whew, that's a lot. You can find me on Facebook. You can go to Utah Musicians and Entertainment. And that's where we bridge the local music and the filmmakers together. UtahMusicians.net's the website. We're revamping the website, so that'll be able to tie everybody. But you'll be able to listen to, you'll be able to listen to all the local music on a radio station there. So you'll be able to hear all the independent musicians, and that's basically the best place to find me is through Facebook.
And what are you doing next? What have you got coming out?
So I've got a short coming out called See You Next Tuesday.
It's a comedy.
That's a comedy.
It's awesome. It's really cute and hilarious.
Yeah, we're looking at March release for that. And that's my stuff. And we got Witch of Wonderland we're working on. Mm-hmm. And I'll leave the rest to her. She's got a lot going on.
I think the best way to find us is to Google Zepstone Media, because you're going to find our social media that way, plus the website, zepstonemedia.com.
Yep.
And
find that on Facebook, Zepstone Media.
Yeah. or with Facebook or Insta, Alicia O. Farmer for the handle. Zepstone Media is on both too.
Oh yeah, Utah
and Rite
Musician.
of the Shaman.
Oh yeah, Rite of the Shaman. Yep, and Utah Musicians on Instagram for me as well.
And what I have
Perfect.
going on next is we're wrapping up on producing a horror movie called Algia. It does have some important messages inside, or I wouldn't have agreed to do it.
Yeah.
I don't like torture porn and those kinds of horror movies. I like horror movies that have substance. So we're finishing that up, and then we've got Witch of Wander Lane, which is a series that our writers are working on right now.
Very excited for that one.
Oh, perfect.
And we're about to announce something really, really, really big for Rite of the Shaman here in the next week or two.
Yeah.
So definitely everybody out there, keep your ears and eyes open, and the dogs agree.
Yep.
And don't worry, all your Instagrams will be on the bottom of the screen. But there are a couple questions I want to talk to you off the air. But if you're watching on Facebook, hit the notification. You'll be notified when brand new interviews are up and ready. If you're watching on, I'd say she'll work in my background. Now, if you're watching on Facebook, hit the notification icon. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, leave a comment. Our goal is 100 and more views. With that being said, when you support the Keith Andrew and you follow my goal, you're supporting people with disabilities. But until we meet again, it was a real honor and privilege having you guys on the show.
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Until we meet again,